All right, guys, this next guest has become like the most popular lady on Panda Chop News. Back for her third interview, we are talking the beautiful, talented, feisty Tina Torres.
What's good?
Hey, Tina, how you doing, girl?
I am fantastic. Never better.
That's so good to hear. You know, with the two interviews that we've done so far, how have you felt about the feedback that you've received on it?
Well, I haven't actually gone and looked at the feedback, and I do this for my sanity and mental health, but I have heard about the feedback.
That's good
So
to
I'm
hear.
here to say, as we step into Aries season, the savagery is real. Let the pettiness begin. So for all of the haters, y'all can suck my dick. No, I'm just playing.
Whoa there. Yo, I think that you would ruin a lot of fantasies if that were true. A lot of these fans that love watching you.
When I get into like my comedic roasting energy, it's very masculine. You know what I mean? So I use a lot of vulgarity, and that's just a facet of mine. And people need to understand that facet of me, but they also have to understand that even within that one facet of who I am, that it's all love at the end of the day still.
Right. So much going on in the media right now, right? Let's start with Diddy. When you saw Homeland Security raid his homes, what was your reaction?
I mean, it's about time. You know, that was my reaction. I'm like, this was inevitable.
Really? So you foresaw this coming?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What was it that made you think that, oh, this is going to happen?
Well, one, from a macrocosmic perspective, everything comes to light. What is done in secret will always come to light. And that was part of my mission here on Earth, was to shed light, specifically within the entertainment industry.
You know, it's interesting with the Diddy situation, right? It's like there's been so many rumors, so many allegations over the years for the longest time that it even became like a joke about Diddy's parties. You never know what's going to happen at Diddy's parties, right? Watch out for them Diddy parties. It's like a joke within the culture. So at this point, while there's no charges that have been brought up against him, at the same time, it's like, man, where there's smoke, there's fire. Like there can't be these many amount of people coming out and saying this about him and there not be some truth.
Right.
So what do you think about that situation though? Because like people are saying, like he's not proven to be guilty yet. So are we reacting too soon by feeling some type of way about it?
No, I mean, the truth is being revealed. At the same time, there are a lot of people. So you have many different communities. You have a lot of people that are really into music entertainment, that are hyper focused on this. And then you have a spiritual community that is viewing this as a form of distraction. Now, I see it's both, because there's a lot going on with the wars and stuff, and we won't touch on that because that's just another topic. But let's compartmentalize and let's talk about this. Let's be in this. And it's just, this is kind of like the door opening wide. Mark my words. This is like it's about to flood open the rest of the entertainment industry, because Diddy was one of the biggest gatekeepers. Like, we're talking about spiritually, energetically. He kept the key to the gate, to the portal into the spirit realm that gives you access to all the fame and wealth in the music industry, and specifically in the hip hop realm. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And that's an interesting thing, right? Because like you would think that somebody of that status, somebody of that stature had protection over him for so many X amount of years, right? So now that it's been a green light on him, what do you think happened? Like, did somebody target him specifically?
Well, and I've been saying this. It's like, okay, so all of these, evildoers, workers, people who are doing crazy stuff on Earth, they're all kind of like going to war against each other now, because their ego has grown so big and they feel like they have so much money and so much power that nobody can touch them. So I guess it was last June where he tried suing the owners of Ciroc and DeLeon for racial stuff.
Right.
And when you bite the hand that feeds you, And when you sign on the dotted line, and those are your superiors, because Diddy really is just a small person. The entertainment industry is only meant to, they're like puppets to distract from the bigger picture. So he was really just a little guy in the bigger scope of things. And his ego got a little too big, and he thought that he could combat the powers that be. And they said, guess what? You know what I mean? And now a big portion of the music industry is now being exposed because he got a little too haughty.
You know, and that's interesting, right? Because then like he ended up settling where it was like, okay, we won't put our business out there anymore. And he's no longer an owner of any of those liquor brands that he was pushing for the longest time, right? You always associated Ciroc with Diddy. He's not a part of that anymore. DeLeon, he's, you know, that was newer, but at the same time, like he's no longer a part of that as well. So it's like, what do you think happened where it's like, I'm willing to give this up now?
Well, he wasn't willing to give it up. It's like he had to forcefully do it, I'm sure. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you gotta cut your losses, take your losses and maneuver now. So he got a spanking. He's not allowed to be the face of these things because these people, just like Jay-Z and Beyonce and them, they don't actually own anything. They are part of the boule. They're puppets controlled by bigger people that are doing bigger things on the planet. You know what I mean?
So are we talking like the Illuminati, like in that vein?
Yeah, I mean, you can call it that. You know what I mean? I don't like to use that word because it's so triggering and it's been used so loosely everywhere. But yeah, we can call it that. The boule is like a sect of the Illuminati, you know, where it was a mixed race of people, black and white, to be able to fool masses of people and classes and of people.
Definitely. Would you say that it's kind of like a parallel where Kanye felt like so powerful and he felt like he could say what he wanted to do and he pissed off the wrong person and then they humbled him to a certain extent?
Yes. Kanye is a little different though, because he is, you know, even though he did sell his soul and I'm sure he has engaged in certain harmful acts, I believe the condition of his heart is different than somebody like Diddy's. Because he came out trying to expose it and realizing, you know what I mean? He's realizing he has to turn from these ways and even sabotage his own career and his own good standing with the entire world to shed light.
Right. So in our previous interview, you said that you felt the whole Diddy situation was a distraction from something bigger. You still feel that way?
Yeah. But I mean, let me retract a little bit. Nah, you know what? I'm going to say it's not a distraction because it's all coming down simultaneously. So it's just part of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I got that now. It's not, it's part of it all.
Got you. What do you think about how like some of his famous sayings now, you know, there's been a different take on it, like take that, can't stop, won't stop. And now instead of people saying pause, they're saying no Diddy.
Are you kidding me? I have not heard that. Oh, gee.
No, yeah, it's everywhere right now that people are saying that. And it's interesting because it's like a lot of people in mainstream, you know, pretty big media are saying it. So it's like almost like people have turned on him to a certain extent.
Well, and they're told to turn on him too. Like I'm sure the Breakfast Club revolt. I'm sure they're told, okay, this is no longer daddy, no pun intended, you know?
Yeah, and that's another interesting thing, right? Because, you know, he had stepped down from Revolt like back in November, and then now we found out that he sold all of his shares of Revolt as well. Even though they said that it's still black owned, but that's a big thing to do.
Okay, let's touch on this black owned topic. That is it's a psyop. Because there are powers that be that aren't even human that operate from higher, like we're talking about, it all, you know, trickles down to subsidiaries, you know, you have parent companies, you have conglomerates, all that. So nothing is actually what people perceive in this country as black owned and these black excellent celebrities. It's not that. They're actually owned by, so Complex magazine, Complex media outlet is owned by Hungarian billionaire William Randolph Hearst.
Wow.
And this is nothing but urban and black content that's being pushed through this channel. And who do you think is actually really owns Revolt and the Breakfast Club? Not black people, you know?
So you think that these outlets are being used to push a certain agenda to specific demographics then?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
To keep them in
go ahead.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. To keep them in loop patterns in this matrix construct simulation, to keep them running on certain programs. That's why we have to break out of, rise above the matrix simulation. We're still in it. We're still in a 3D reality, but to be able to see, open your third eye to see from a higher perspective. And yes, I know the people on this channel don't necessarily like when I talk about spiritual stuff, but it's okay. I'm speaking to your spirit, because your spirit is being awakened right now. And the cognitive dissonance might kick in. And that's like the cognitive dissonance is something in you, the Agent Smith, that comes and tries to fight the truth. So when you hear truth, it's like all this other programmed information comes in as the Agent Smith to be like, oh, no. And then it's like something in you is like, No, but we're breaking that down.
See, Tina, you're so intuitive because you already knew what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, people are gonna look at you like you're crazy because you started mentioning the other aspect. Oh, it's owned by entities that aren't even human and whatnot, right? And then, some of the things that I've seen on the channel where people have been like, oh, it's always the pretty ones that are crazy. It's always this and whatnot.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, they're like, she lost me as soon as she mentioned this,
It's okay, baby. Come back. I know you're lost in the maze, hon.
Yeah. So the claims have gotten more and more crazy, right? That it's almost hard to keep up with. Like the most recent lawsuit was from Lil Rodney Jones, and it was like 70 pages. And he's saying Diddy be having cameras in every single room and got videos of everybody doing something suspect. He said Diddy shot somebody in his bathroom, and he got a bloody picture along with the lawsuit and everything. Underage people at the parties, and it's a complete mess. Like, man, what is your thoughts about this?
I mean, yeah, like it's definitely going on. And now that I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, I had so much protection on me back then. Like, how was it that I was like 30 minutes late getting ready before going to Diddy's apartment in New York? And then everything happened before going to Miami. And I'm like, yo, because I do like to drink. I probably, and back then it was more uncontrolled. Now I'm in a different space. You know what I mean? But something would have happened. I would have probably blacked out, would have probably been recorded, and my life would have been done. And I would have been lost and had it probably, they would have been seeing me as famous now, but I would have probably been miserable. Like I can see my whole life in that realm. And then I told you, I think in one of the last episodes, that the person that introduced me to Diddy, he told me that there was a party in Vegas, and he didn't say this trying to expose nothing. He was just sharing information, where they were at a party in Vegas and Diddy took off all his clothes. Chris Brown was there, Cassie, everyone. And he's like, everybody get naked, and I heard this back in 2015. So I just kind of like took note, and back then, even we heard about this, but I just didn't like really bring it home until now. Everything is coming together. And then even seeing now how I was so protected to not even be able to be in the actual physical presence of Puff, because like I said, we were texting for a while. And then actually when I met him and when I talked on the phone with him, he sounded really high, like he was on drugs. But during that time when I was being shuttled all over the city, I had a dream, and in the dream, he came and had intercourse with me. And that's how they open up the portal spiritually, and they come in and they connect with you energetically on a spirit realm. And then everything happens in the physical, so it's deeper than just even parties. And keep in mind, the anus is a portal to other dimensions and realms.
Wait. The anus is a portal to what?
It opens up things to your as a human body. And when they do their workings, we're talking like sex magic now. It's meant for spiritual workings. It's not just because people just want to have sex and party. It's actually much deeper.
No Diddy.
No Diddy.
So the people are obviously going to be like, wow, like, what is the
I
goal
know.
to do this penetration and sex magic and all that stuff? Like, what is the ultimate goal of that?
Control, entrapment, and to create more chaos in this matrix construct simulation in the 3D Earth realm.
Okay, you said that you went to Diddy's apartment?
No, I was invited and I was 30 minutes late getting ready.
So you dodged the bullet. Okay. And when you talk about the conversations that you had with Diddy, right? I remember before you said that he wanted to work with you.
Yeah. We were in contact, and then the producer that had introduced me to him, I was being, like I said, I was being shuttled all over the city. I was being given records with major features on them. I was like meeting famous people every day in meetings, everything. It was like, oh, this is happening,
Wow. And what is your thoughts this entire time when you're going through this process?
I mean, at the time, I was just like, oh my God, my dreams are coming true. You know what I mean? I'm doing it. I'm getting noticed, and all this is happening. And next thing you know, everything just came crumbling down.
And that was the producer that ended up assaulting you, right? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the lawsuit that Rodney Jones had placed, right? He said that Diddy was using a video of Stevie J engaging in homosexual activities and saying, see, the guy that you look up to is doing it too. So it's not a big deal. Basically, that's like the idea of what was being said in the lawsuit. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And you see recently when Diddy had popped back up, right? Stevie J was right there with him too in Miami.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I mean, and at this point, you got to look at all the people that have been around him at this point. And all those, even the producer that's running around New York right now, I'm looking at people sideways right now. And I think that producer, I don't know if he was ever really, really brought in like that, even though he, had a platinum selling record, all that. But he was operating in a similar energy, which is why it caused him to do what he did with me. But that was like the buffer, the form of protection, because my life path and journey was not meant to end up like a Kanye and a Justin Bieber and a Britney Spears. That wasn't my path.
What do you think about people like Tyrese, Slim Thug, D Dot, the producer, coming out and basically saying like, their interactions with Diddy have always been good, or like, why are we as a culture, like basically saying he's guilty before he's even proven to be guilty?
Those are some dick sucking ass motherfuckers.
Really? Did you see what Tyrese had said though? He said that, like, Diddy, I'm here for you, my brother, and like he's like wishing him well.
Let's first ask Tyrese what happened to Paul Walker. Let's ask him that.
What do you think happened to Paul Walker?
I mean, the same shit that happens to everybody else who tries to come out exposing stuff. But Tyrese is still alive and standing.
Well, I didn't know that Paul Walker was exposing things.
He was, I guess, he was in partnership coming out with a documentary about child trafficking.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then Slim Thug was saying that, like, I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm not saying he's guilty, but like already we are basically judging him without, there being any charges brought on him or anything.
That's some bitch ass response. That's someone who's not in tune, who's like trying to cover shit because you're paid to do so.
Got you. Okay. And then D Dot was saying, who I've interviewed before as well, but D Dot was said that, like, it's funny that people don't gossip about the times that they've helped you and whatnot.
Another bitch ass response. Who is D Dot actually?
Huh?
Who is D Dot?
D Dot, the mad rapper. D Dot, he produced Hypnotize for Biggie. He produced a lot of big records. He's a member of the Hitmen with Stevie J.
Hitmen, okay.
Yeah. So he's been around I don't even know Bad Boy for a very long time. He knew Diddy back when they went to college together. You
Of
know,
course. He's covering bases too.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, and then Benzino also came out and he said, like, we as a culture always bring out our popcorn and can't wait to see like the fall of a black man
Oh,
when
oh, oh, the man who sold his child to the industry.
what Coil Ray?
But yeah, the man who sold his child to the industry. Yeah,
What do
yeah.
you mean by that?
Um, when you're someone in the industry and your child comes in after you like this and hits certain peaks and has no talent, you sold them to the industry. I'm sure she has been systemized. She has been gone through the whole thing. You know what I mean? And you see her whole image and all this, like everything. Like the little girl is no talent artist.
You really think she
You
has
know
no
what I mean?
talent?
Brah, brah,
Oh,
brah,
Data, come on.
brah.
It's interesting though, because for Benzino, right? Like he's spoken out against the industry though. He said that these record labels have convinced her to speak out against him and to come up with
I,
different
I, I
narratives.
I think that was a bunch of fabricated like industry stuff to just, to bring about attention.
So all these interviews where he's crying over his daughter, saying like, "I don't want to fight with you in public" and everything.
I have a feeling that's made up. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any interactions with Benzino?
No.
No.
No. Never crossed his path.
He's going through a lot of stuff right now too. But yeah, so you've been real critical of celebrities, right? But someone you do seem to have a little bit of a soft spot for is your boy 50 Cent, okay? 50's been on Diddy's head, pause, no Diddy, with nonstop posts. Why do you think 50 hates Diddy so much?
That's a good question. Honestly, like I'm trying to remember because I know I heard some stuff about like how far back their beef went. I don't know exactly why. I don't know.
Some of the possible things, right? It's like, for example, Diddy had the opportunity to sign 50 before 50 ever blew up, but he used them just as a ghostwriter. That was one situation. There was
Oh,
a
I didn't know that.
situation where 50 wanted to sign Mace, right, from Diddy. And Diddy was like, yeah, we'll do the deal. We'll do the yada yada. And then like he kept like prolonging it. And then he said, no, I want 2 million for Mace. And 50 was like, Mace is not even worth 2 million with 2 million in his pocket. You know what I mean? And so, and then he ended up dissing Diddy on a song, but they've worked together over the years too, So it's been an interesting back and forth. But if you notice, as soon as Diddy started to have a fall with the whole Keefe D allegations and everything, the Tupac murder and stuff, it's like 50's been nonstop. Like Diddy hasn't had a good 2 years. Like he's like, keeps on.
Yeah. Yeah, not it's probably yeah, like all the inside stuff and him being overlooked and 50 is a cancer. They're gonna come back and they're gonna troll. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like I get that energy. Like I'll troll people for the rest of their lives who did me wrong. Like that's just just a little exposing myself. But I'm like I'm also thinking I'm like you're so bold, Fifth, to like come out like this and to like because you're in the industry too. But at the same time, he's probably getting a little ego thinking that his stuff can't, get exposed at the same time. Cause you're on, you know what I mean? So you've been portal holing too, fool.
Wait. No. The portal holing, that you just created a whole new term. Oh my God, man. The fans are going to go crazy over this. Wow. Okay. Well, in the Lil Rod lawsuit, right? It says Diddy used Young Miami, who, we saw him be in somewhat of a relationship with, right? And
Mhm.
50's baby mama, Daphne Joy, who we've seen pictures of Diddy holding hands with her in the past. They're saying that he used them as sex workers.
I saw this the other day. I was like, yo, did he send Daphne to 50?
No, I don't think it's that. I think if it did happen, it happened after Diddy 50's relationship with her, But
But Okay, sorry. What was your question again? Ask that again.
No, I'm saying that like in this new lawsuit, right, by Lil Rod, he's saying that these two people who we've seen around Diddy are actually being used by Diddy as alleged sex workers. Now, someone
Yeah.
as famous and successful as Diddy has plenty of choices, plenty of choices of women to choose from, right? Why he got to choose 50's baby mama? So that might be some insight into why 50 hates him so much.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know exactly, you know, but I do know to tap in, like, so, okay, keep in mind, within the industry, there are specific sex workers. And I want to talk about this shit because this needs to be fucking exposed right now. Right. So, okay, let's go back to King Louis the 14th, right? Like the back in those times where, in France, prostitution was outlawed at one point, but Louis the 14th was such he was such a horn dog that he decided to bring back in prostitution. He caught a venereal disease. He got pissed off, so he outlawed it again to the public. Decided to create his own elitist brothels. So these houses, you know what I mean, of people of his own prostitutes that they didn't philander anywhere else. That translates over into today. All these specific elitist type prostitutes that are in position. So it's like they have to be used because they're in that position. You know what I mean? You can't go just get a regular prostitute that's not under this hierarchy and ranking. You know what I mean? There's ranking within the industry. And there's this girl in New York City, this Dominican chick that was living in Harlem. When I met her at a friend of mine his name is Uncut Art. He does, if you've ever seen Protect Your Heart on the Street. So I met her at this event and she told me she was a school teacher, right? And I was with another artist friend at the time. So we had connected with her separately. She invited me out to some pool party in Jersey, right? When I get to the pool party, I'm realizing, yo, all these pretty girls show up. You know what I mean? Like bad bitches. I'm like, yo, this is a fucking escort service. And
wait, what made you realize that it was an escort service?
I picked up on the energy. You know what I mean? When you're intuitive, you just know. And I'm just like, and then I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. So maneuvered, got out or whatever. And then I talked to my other friend who had met her too. And he was like, it's funny. He's like, she told me, she was like, yeah, I run an escort service. And then she was like, oh, I'm just kidding. But then she told me she was a school teacher. Now, for a year and a half, she was hitting me up. Oh, hey, baby, come out to the Hamptons for the weekend. Everything's paid for. Oh, hey, baby, come to the Philip Klein fashion show. I have front row tickets. I dubbed her for a year and a half. I let her just like converse with me. And I'm like, yo, she's making money. She's running a whole operation. And so I just ended up cutting her off or whatever. Next thing you know, I'm seeing her pop up within friends of mine. Cootie's following her. Another friend, a bunch of industry people in New York are following her. She's at the UN. She's now an author. Billboard magazine did a whole write-up on her. Wow. She's a madam. And this is what happens is you see all these PR people all coming up in the industry. They actually are a part of big sex trafficking rings. And like I said, there are specific prostitutes. When models walk the runway, they're being auctioned off. You know what I mean? All of these fashion houses were just the elitist brothels from back in the day, which is why it's linked to all the sex trafficking and the child trafficking. And then it gets deeper. And then these people, it's not only just they were having sex and opening portals, but now they're murdering children and drinking blood to gain higher levels of spirituality.
That's crazy.
Sorry.
No. That's fine. Because in our first interview, you had spoken about the guy that you used to date, Dre. He had ran into some women that were allegedly.
No, I never dated Dre. You're talking about the basketball player, right?
Yeah. Or was your friend?
I never dated him. He was a friend. Yes.
Okay. Right. And he had ran into some women that ended up being escorts, right? Within the industry.
All the models, I realized that all the models that I was on in the 50 shoot with were also like girls that were being pimped out in the industry.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was like, I got to stop hanging out with these people because I don't want to be guilty by association. You know what I mean? Like I'm just not that type of girl. Not that type of girl.
Mhm.
I don't care if we're in VIP getting free bottles and free, like nope. That is not me.
Definitely not willing to sell your soul just for some of that, right?
Like crazy.
Yeah. So 50 is taking shots at his baby mama, right? In every single post that he's posting, he's saying, "Oh, I didn't know you was a little sex worker." He's like, "Yo, this is the sex worker theme music," and like calling out like
What?
all this stuff, right? And go ahead.
I'm like, how did he know she wasn't a sex worker? He knows how the industry it runs.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's
So that's what I'm saying is maybe he was out of the loop and didn't realize she was one of the hierarchy of the elitist, like, prostitutes. And that's what I'm saying. Did he send her to 50?
I don't know, but she's denied it
That's
all.
what I'm asking.
She's denied it all, right?
Of course she has. She's a fucking prostitute.
She said that she's retaining a lawyer to see her options, and
Sorry.
50 is seeking sole custody of their son now, Sire, right? And she put out some crazy allegations on 50 saying that he assaulted her and whatnot. And 50, of course, has denied it. And he said
she's lying.
50 has denied it and said that this is in response to him seeking sole custody.
She's lying. She's a liar.
What makes you think that she's lying?
My intuition. You can, and obviously look at her. She is an industry sex worker. You can tell. They all look like that. They all do. I was going to say something, but
they all look like that? Like they have like a certain vibe and look to them?
Okay. Let me, I use that a little loosely. You can feel, just if you feel, what does she do? What kind of talent does Daphne have? What does she do within the entertainment industry?
I think she's a model, right?
The models are the prostitutes. They don't even have talent. But then eventually even the talented ones are auctioned off for sex. So it's really like the models are specifically there for sex work. The music artists are there. They're also used for sex work at times, but they're more so used to conduct the frequency and to, manipulate the energy like that. But models in the industry are sex workers. What is their purpose? What else?
Yeah, you're right. I just went to her Instagram and I don't see anything, like it doesn't say anything like about like a bio or like what she does. Yeah, I think it's she's just a model, I guess. That's mainly it.
Keep it. Yep. When people in Hollywood sell off their children that don't have talent, they always turn them into models, like Hailey Bieber, Gigi Hadid, all them, you know what I mean? But they're really just like sex workers for the elitist people.
Don't you think that, because people say that majority of the time when like a woman comes out and says like, oh, this person assaulted me, it's like a really high percentage that it's true. What makes you so confident that what she's saying about 50 isn't true?
Bruh, you have his child. And if you really wanted to expose him, she would have come out a long time ago.
Yeah. Don't you think that maybe it might be possible that she was afraid?
It's possible because I know I was in a certain position, you know what I mean? And so I think about that too, but we're talking about industry sex workers. Nah, man. And that's why it's confusion. And that's why I'm like, all those women ruin it for women like us who actually have been abused.
That's another thing too. That's a good point, right? Like it is really sad when these stories come out and it like, it ruins it for the people that have actually gone through that, right? When you make false allegations and whatnot.
Yep.
Because 50 had said that she moved close to him, not too long ago, because she wanted a second child with him. But I guess he wasn't interested.
I'm telling you now, Diddy sent her to him. I'm telling you now. That's what I'm getting. Diddy sent her. She is a Diddy operative.
Did you see Fat Joe's response to this whole situation?
Oh my God, no. What did he say?
Well, Fat Joe said he doesn't know enough about it and that Come on. Oh my God.
Yo, sorry, go ahead.
He said he doesn't know enough about it and that Diddy has been his friend for 30 years. And he was doing it during the Hot 97 interview, right, with Ebro in the morning. And
Oh,
Ebro kept on trying to ask him more about it. And he was all like, Ebro, stop. Like, like you already got Fat Joe to talk about it. You're the first person, you're the only person that has this. So let's not talk about it anymore.
That was orchestrated. You know that?
What makes you say that?
Was because I can tell. To specifically, okay, we got to cover Fat Joe's image right now, so we're going to put him on Hot 97. We're going to Ebro. Ebro is already, one of the people who conducts energy and knows how to cast spells and everything. You know what I mean? Fat Joe.
Whoa, wait. Okay, so wait, time out. Ebro, you're saying, how do you know Ebro is like that?
Watch the interviews. Just watch. Pay attention. And this time, everybody, look and see with eyes that you've never seen with before.
He's pretty powerful in the industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's been around for a really long time. He's got some, pull now at Apple Music and everything. But yeah, so when I interviewed Hassan Campbell, right? He said Joe had defended Africa Bambaataa, right? Saying people make allegations. They were trying to ruin hip hop. And Hassan said, but if you Google Fat Joe, he had a sexual assault case. Man, roll the clip.
It's sort of like with Fat Joe, right? When Fat Joe made the video talking about if dudes is trying to destroy hip hop under one breath, and then if Bambaataa did this, he should have been killed. But then when you sit up there and you Google, Fat Joe had a sexual assault case, and then under the sexual assault case that he had, his ghost writer or rapper that was down with him, TA, was actually there when the assault happened and actually vouching that it actually did happen, and that girl was she was mistreated and mistouched, and then have more allegations.
I interviewed his ghostwriter, TA, 2 times, and he was there at that night when that assault happened or whatever, when that woman was mistreated. And he confirmed that situation, right? So, and he's made some crazy allegations against Joe since then. Of course, there's been no evidence or anything to prove it. Well, what made you laugh so much when I said that he said he doesn't know anything about it?
Because he's obviously lying. He has come out saying that he himself is a liar. I lied. I'm being honest. I lied. Fat Joe. We're going to call him now Lying Joe. Lie Joe. That's his new name. You are Lie Joe.
Well, they call him Cap Joe.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. They're saying that because he always caps. That's what people say. But
oh, okay. Well, then Cap Joe. We gonna use that name still.
Well, it's interesting now when you see him, right? Because he's been with the politicians so much now.
Oh, Fat Joe has been. Oh, of course.
Yeah, because he's working with the whole Power to the Patients movement, where he's trying to get the law passed where like there's more transparency into how much medical procedures cost and whatnot. And you see him with Kamala Harris and
with Kamala Harris. Oh. Right. Oh.
what does that mean?
I'm just saying the people that want to enslave us, the government, the people that want to enslave us, so when I see, rappers, fake rappers, lying rappers conjoining with politicians who have lied to us continuously, who are destroying the fabric of our very country and society,
Well, he has a show coming out soon on Stars Network, right? Where he's going to be going all over the US talking with it's like a hip hop kind of interview kind of situation, right? But But it's interesting now that like he's started to blow up to like a totally different level, and his image is completely different than what we remembered it to be before.
Oh, he's probably opening up his portal a lot more.
What explain for the people more about that, about like opening up your portal.
He is now basically relinquished his whole entity to be used by the government, right? The people who control the mind, who control all of us, as a puppet. So now he's being used on even greater levels than just little hip hop and rap songs.
Yeah, because hip hop is like one of the most powerful cultures, right? Most influential, especially amongst the youth. So what you're saying just has so much influence. This culture of hip hop has so much influence. So having somebody like a Fat Joe involved with politicians could really make a difference.
Oh yeah, and now that I like see it, like, oh, definitely CIA organized. Now I'm not saying that rapping and the art forms and the skills and all this was, conducted by the CIA, because that's the creativity that's within each of us as spirit and humans and all that. But the organization of hip hop and like the four core elements of hip hop, I used to bank on these. Okay, graffiti, hip hop, graffiti, breakdancing, MCing, and DJing. Well, graffiti. Now this is defacing public property. So now you are telling young men in their communities to go and deface public property, and you're saying it's like this is our culture, this is who we are, and you're telling them to go fight for that. Now that's a CIA trap.
In our last interview, we had spoke about you were saying that you think that hip hop maybe have been created by the CIA, right? A lot of people in the comments were saying not created but infiltrated.
Exactly. Yes. So let me take that back. And that's what I'm saying is the creativity of rapping and all that has been around for thousands of years. You know what I mean? Like as soon as we spoke, like humans have been doing this, dancing and all that, but bringing the organization together and appointing people like KRS-One and Africa Bambaataa to go and now permeate the neighborhoods and to recruit.
It's a sad thing because when you look at those allegations towards Africa Bambaataa, right, you have people that come out and said, well, we've been hearing about this stuff for years. So it's like, where were all these people when these, you know what I mean? Like, why wasn't this spoken about sooner if you knew somebody in that position of power was taking advantage of their power?
Well, right now, because of social media. Now it's because it's like, it's social media is allowing us a lot more, to just gain a lot more momentum in this message, because one person saying something in one room, now you have a room, like it's 1 against like 20. And that one person doesn't realize that these other people have already signed on and joined in the club and to deceive and all that. And this one person is like, that's how it was back in the day. And that was me. I was like one person in one room, and then no one says anything to you. They just, they mark you, and then word goes around, and then now you're marked.
So when I interviewed Hassan Campbell, right, he also said that Fat Joe's name had appeared on the Epstein list. But I know people said that there was a fake list floating around, and Joe came out and he said that his name was on the fake list and he don't know Epstein. He's glad he's dead. Hassan said you could get your name removed from the list. Man, roll a clip.
They was basically saying that Joe's name was on the Epstein list. And he's saying it's a misunderstanding, but the lawyers that had the list, they also said that some celebrities begged the judges to get their name taken off of the Epstein list because it would destroy their catalog and who they are in the industry. So now you have to ask yourself a question: was his name really on that list, or was it not on that list? Because some of those people had their names removed so that they could be anonymous. And then when you got
didn't he come out and say that there was a fake list that came out that had his name on it?
Yeah, he said it was a fake list that had his name on it, but it wasn't a fake list; it was a list.
Do you know if that's actually true?
I don't know. What I go off of is the defendant list, like from one of the major human trafficking case that came out in 2020. It's Latham versus 1953 Trust. 1953 Trust is Jeffrey Epstein. So the first three people on that, the top three head honchos were Epstein, Weinstein, and Jay-Z. Now, if like, I don't know what Fat Joe goes under or his real name or anything, but like it's you can tell people what they've been involved in by their association. He's heavy with Diddy, heavy Rock Nation, Jay-Z. Like, come on, Fat Joe. We know you've been sucking dick, bro.
Okay, that's that's kind of crazy. I'm sorry, that's kind of crazy. But why would you?
It's just the truth. It's the
Why
truth.
would you say? Why would you say that? We know that you've been sucking dick, though.
Because you can tell. You can tell. You can, if you can have any ounce of ability to read energy, you can tell. You are who your friends are. He's defending everything right now. So he is on that side.
Okay, well, let me play devil's advocate, right? So if Diddy and him are really friends for 30 years, don't you think that like it would be only right for a friend to be like, you know what, I know this person for this amount of time, I know their character. I don't think that that would be in their character to do such things.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you want to defend a friend, yeah. Like obviously we can tell they're friends. You know what I mean?
Right. But don't you think that then he's just doing what a friend would do, though? Like that's the right thing to do?
Yeah. So he's a friend of Diddy. So of course he's going to defend Diddy's actions because he partakes in the Diddy actions and the portal anus, parties and all that. Fat Joe. And he's been looking really, really pretty lately too.
What do you mean by pretty?
Yeah. They start looking like feminine and pretty when they're the bottom.
When they're getting the portal open, their portal open? Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, over the years he has lost a lot of weight, and I don't know if he's been taking the Ozempic or whatever it is. Like,
I'm sure he has because all the celebrities do.
Yeah, because for Halloween he dressed up as the Ozempic medicine.
Oh, that's okay. So now that's truth hidden in plain sight. That's
Right.
That's part of the laws of what they do. So yeah, of course.
So as far as the list goes, right, I didn't see Joe's name mentioned in any of the articles or lists. I just mainly saw him addressing it, saying it was a fake list. He said, fuck this guy, I don't know him, whatever, right? But also, just because your name is on the list, it doesn't mean you're necessarily guilty, right? Because Epstein was like, he got a lot of celebrities flown over there to perform. I think Eminem's name was on the list as well. They flew out a lot of people to,
Yeah. For me, I don't care if your name is on a list or not. You are guilty by association, by your continuation in Hollywood's agenda, by, conjoining with certain political agendas. Like, you expose yourself that way.
Would you say that it's different when you defend a friend that is not in the entertainment business? Like if Joe and Diddy were just regular people and there was an allegation or something and him defending his friend, but because we know this type of activity takes place in the entertainment business, then it makes it a little more questionable.
Yeah. Yeah. And at this point, Fat Joe, like he has to maintain his, his stance, his association. Otherwise he loses everything. So he has to like take it to the end,
Take that. Yeah. So what do you think will ultimately happen to Diddy?
Good question. I'm going to touch on this because I don't know exactly. But in 2008, I had a dream that I was sitting in the middle of this desolate place. There was brown grass everywhere with metal fences all around. And in the middle of that place, there was a vintage Rolls Royce, white vintage Rolls Royce. And I don't know if Rolls-Royce ever made like the suicide doors in the back like Lincoln did, but this car in the dream had that. So it had the suicide doors in the back and the bench seats in the back, right? So I was sitting in the bench seat with the driver facing my back, and right in front of me was Jay-Z and Beyonce, and we were all wearing white, and we were having a conversation. And I've gotten word recently from some sources I won't say that it's possible that they will be begging for forgiveness and mercy for the acts that they have been doing on earth. And when I heard that information a couple weeks ago, it took me back to that dream in 2008, which in that dreams are very reality, another realm, real states of consciousness. And now that I'm thinking about it, that desolate place with the metal gates could have been Guantanamo Bay or some high maximum security prison. So it's very possible that all of these people who have been conducting themselves on earth the way that they have could be put into high maximum security prisons at some point. But then we come in as higher consciousness beings to offer love, mercy, forgiveness, and grace. Because at some point, when they're behind bars like that, they're tortured. They're in a state of hell. Hell is a state of mind because of what they've done. They've separated themselves from source, from the Most High, from the light, and they have now put themselves in a space. But people of the light are here to tell people of the darkness that there is redemption. And all it takes is a turning around of doing what you're doing and stepping back into the light and changing your ways, because we are all one. The light and darkness is one, the yin and the yang. We all conduct together. But it's time that we all go back to this source. You know, we've expanded enough. There's been enough negative expansion and data collection, but it's time that we all go back to this love source. I know it sounds like cliche and weird, but it's the truth.
So is this why on your threads you posted an article of Diddy and you said the fall continues, forgiveness is here for those who seek it?
Yes.
Got you. Okay. You think that really that people that hurt so many people, ruin so many lives, like they deserve the forgiveness?
Yes.
What makes you feel that way?
Because we all deserve forgiveness, even in our own small wrongdoings. If I will not extend forgiveness to them for their big wrongdoings, then who am I to receive forgiveness in my small wrongdoings? Because really, there is no measure in the macrocosmic perspective.
Okay, so, you know, we were all innocent at one point in our lives, right? You know, no, I don't really feel like anyone's like necessarily born to be evil, but along the way, I don't know, you know, whatever you're exposed to or, you know, your life decisions and everything. Mm-hmm. Do you think that it's possible to even change your ways once you reach that level?
Oh, there's no other way to go but to change once you reach that level.
But do you think that it doesn't mean the same because you're being forced to change versus wanting to change?
No, it's what it is. It's so much expansion, and it is a force. It is a force, but you have to understand that force is meant there for a reason, to bounce back. So I'm still really learning how to articulate this to the masses right now, because I have more understanding in my heart and in my mind than I can even use words to say. But it's just because of the love, because we all, at the core of our being, it's only love. So love, it's only going to take you so far. And guess what? The love is so great that it allows expansion to go so far into darkness and negativity. But that love is always going to pull us back. And actually, they are brave souls to expand that far, to be able to come back, to even be able to accept love, mercy, forgiveness, and grace.
So they're saying with Diddy that each charge of trafficking could result in 25 years in prison. So if you had to guess, you don't think he's going to get away with it. You think that he's actually going to go down for it? Pause.
I can't tell you that. All I can tell you is a dream that I saw with Jay-Z and Beyonce. I don't know how Diddy's whole thing is going to work out, but in my dream, I did see Jay-Z and Beyonce in a high maximum security prison.
So you think they're next?
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying, yeah, Jay-Z's next. And supposedly they're separating assets right now, Beyonce and Jay-Z too. So they're preparing, they're prepping for
What, like they're divorcing because they're not going to be together anymore, or they're doing it more for like strategic reasons?
Well, I mean, divorcing, I mean, they never were really like a real union. It was all business.
Really? Okay.
So, yeah, you think the old motherfuckers love each other? Actually, word on the street too is that Jay-Z and Diddy, you know, are.
Whoa. Okay, Tina, now you're going too far. Wait a minute. Wait. Wow. Do you, okay.
Yo. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, there's this video of Jay-Z and Diddy at the Rock Nation brunch, right? I don't know, some years ago. And Diddy is standing there just like in his masculine energy, right? And Jay is like right behind him on the side, looking feminine, but like peeping the crowd. He sees somebody and something, but it's like if you read the energy, it's like Diddy was there as this masculine energy. And then it's like Jay was sitting there right behind with his cute little drink, like in a certain like body language.
You know what? And also I saw on Threads, okay, like for anybody that follows Tina, okay, Threads is where it's at if you want to know about what Tina thinks, what Tina feels. Like seriously, IG's cool. You see her, you know, posing and everything, having all the nice pictures, you know, which are expensive gear and everything, right? But when you go on Threads, ooh, it's raw and uncut on Threads, okay? Because I saw you post that picture of Jay-Z with the Predator. Oh my God.
You know, to me, Threads is like Twitter to me. So
right.
Like, it's just meant to unleash all of your, you know what I mean? Instagram is my portfolio. I get a little spicy on there sometimes. TikTok is a mixture of more, you know, conspiracy shit, but you're right. Threads is where I really like, I'm going to say some shit. You know what I mean? But that, whenever I say something, that's really like, it shifts stuff in the matrix. I'm telling you. And this is why all of this is being exposed now, because people like myself have just been pushing. You know what I mean?
Who else would you say is a notable person that is doing the exposing besides you? Would you say like Hassan Campbell?
Number one, Hassan. Who else has been out here? I mean, yeah, just Hassan. I mean, there are other people that I kind of know about, but Hassan has been going hard, and I have so much respect for him.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's sad how people use his trauma against him because they don't like him, and they call him Thison and like all this stuff. You know, I think that in any case, like if you don't like somebody, I don't think I would ever use their trauma like that against them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's really dirty and that's really low. You know what I mean? But for a man to come out and say what he's saying, that takes so much strength and courage. And the thing about it is those men who are clowning him, they actually probably have a lot of sexual abuse that they've never dealt with, which is why they're clowning.
You know, it is crazy, right? Because like you think about like how many men have been assaulted in prison, right? And most of them would never admit to it, you know? So if somebody comes out and admits to some kind of thing like that as a man, it would be hard pressed not to believe that it's true. You know, like now I get that we are in the era where people do want attention and the social media, and a lot of people will stoop really low and say absolutely everything. But he's never striked me as that type of person, you know, like I don't get that vibe from him at all. Yeah, but that's really unfortunate. But, you know, I saw some serious people follow you, Tina, right? You know, you're big time now, you know, I mean, I know Hassan follows you. Hype Williams follows you.
Wait, Hassan followed me?
Yeah.
Wait, Hype Williams did follow me. What?
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta follow him back. I didn't even see that. What? Oh wait, I did. That's right. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, Hype Williams follows you, King Crooked, like some real, some real legit people. Don't forget about us small people because you climbing up.
Panda, I will say, dude, this is you are positioned here for a reason. There is nothing little about your platform. You know what I mean? And when you even first came to me and presented it, I said, I already know. And I hope you make a shit ton of money off this fucking podcast right here because it's just going to come flooding in. The abundant flow is going to come flooding in because you have allowed people like us to have a space to voice what we need to voice. And it's the waves are taking off. So you're definitely a starseed like myself. You don't even realize.
I appreciate that. I started this platform for that very reason, right? Because I see a lot of people that get their voices out there. They obviously already have connections to all the big platforms, but I've always thought about people that have been blackballed or shunned from the industry, and I'm like, they need somewhere to get their story out, right? They need somewhere to vocalize how they feel about things, and that's exactly why I started it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you did. And I want to let people know, I have been given the green light to go back to make music, to get back on stages. Cause I was like, at one point, I'm like, I'm done with this shit. I don't even want to be perceived as one of these artists. Cause I don't even like this idol worship thing. You know what I mean? It's like, I go back to just enjoying what I do on stage to make people smile in the moment. You know what I mean? It was never about, I'm going to be this superstar and this famous person. I wasn't even allowed to watch pop stars on television. So it wasn't like, I want to be that. I just did what I did. You know what I mean? But we're all coming to this, it's about to get better on earth. You know what I mean? And the music is about to get better. This idol worship, even though I'm still an artist. I am who I am. But I'm not here to be like, I am the greatest talent. Bow down and worship me. And I'm going to sell. And honestly, I don't even want to sell tickets, yo. I want to be able to hold free concerts for people to come, to enjoy themselves, to find healing, and for me to just enjoy myself on stage doing what I love to do. So be it, Yeah,
I think that you bring up a good point, right? Because it's crazy how people idolize people they don't even really know. Just because somebody makes great art or, is talented at something doesn't mean you really know who they are as a person, how they conduct themselves in their personal life and everything. But you see fans will defend somebody to the death. And, and it's like, it's just crazy, right? It's a lot of times I feel like people don't see the greatness in themselves. They rather covet it in somebody else.
Exactly. And that's that's when it becomes idol worship because it's that insecurity. And that's never something that I have wanted to project onto people or to portray. As a young kid, I remember I would befriend, I would notice the rejected people that were the outcasts, people that people weren't talking to. And I would make sure to bring them in the group because I wanted them to feel included. Even though I always had this cool thing about me. I was, kind of popular in a sense or whatever, but it would pain my soul to see somebody being outcast and rejected,
right.
So that's why I'm all about this oneness and unity. And even with the baby eaters and the blood drinkers of the world, you know what I mean? I'm still here talking shit. I'm still here telling my story. I'm still here talking about the darkness. But at the end of the day, we got to bring it all in because we are all one and it's really all love. And we're all just playing a part in a big play. So don't judge me for my expression because all expressions are expressions of the infinite one and come from infinite source. The same way I can sit there and extend forgiveness and mercy and grace to the baby eaters and the blood drinkers of the world, but still talk shit is the same way I can even forgive myself for my wrongdoings and forgive others and just come to this place. And it's it's a simulation. Experience all of the emotions and the expressions that are here without judgment, now assess, examine things, whatever program you want to play in, do that. But remove the condemnation and the final judgment, the final call, because we're all, at the end of the day, we're all still expanding. We're all still, on a journey, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Are you a fan of Lizzo?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. So I saw Lizzo's Juice. The full music video came out a year and a half before her name even blew up. When I heard that song, I was like, yo, who is this? I was like, this shit is fire. The sound is fire. I was like, this is going to blow up. And it took a year and a half for her to actually like come about. You know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely fucked with her whole thing at first.
Her music at first. Okay. And then
Yeah.
how did you start to feel over time?
Well, they're commandeered and they're taken away and used for the agenda.
So you think that she was used to push a certain agenda? Like what agenda specifically?
I mean, I don't want to get into like a conservative, realm, but when we are talking about just health and things like that and really loving yourself, it looks a little bit differently than the way Hollywood wants to portray it. Now there is a lot of self-love in discipline, and they, even when the positive vibes only movement came out, I was like, oh, this is actually detriment to humanity, because it's like now you're removing the ability to face yourself, be introspective, and to look at your own darkness and your own demons. And then you put that aside, you suppress that, and you just pile a bunch of sugar on top. At the end of the day, what does that do?
It's people would say that she normalized being unhealthy, right? Like, and in this PC era that we're in, it's like, oh, no body shaming, no this and no that. But at the same time, it's like you're encouraging people to be unhealthy, right? To possibly inherit certain health conditions and whatnot.
Yeah. And it's more so the vibration rather than the actual actions of eating or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it was a vibration that was passed down so that people would just accept being in a state of sickness and disease. But it has nothing to do with the weight, though. I need people to understand that. I need people to feel the vibration of what it is rather than seeing the physicality of it,
Did you see that she says she's leaving the music industry because she's tired of the bullying?
Oh, yeah. Well, ma'am, when you've also been a sexual predator and you're realizing the temperature, everyone is not liking sexual predatory behavior, you're gonna dip out.
Right, because she's got some lawsuits against her right now from backup dancers and whatnot. What are your thoughts on that?
I believe the backup dancers, because keep in mind, the oil flows from the beard down. So she's now under this hierarchy. So she's going to be operating in that same energy and those same actions. And she's not going to exert her own small power like Diddy exerted his own small power on your little dancers and your people that you control.
Azalea Banks?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She said that Lizzo brought it upon herself with all the jokes because she fed into it. The way that she presented herself, like with like all the candy, all the like unnecessary stuff. And so she said, she did like say that you're really talented, that you brought great music and everything. But as far as the packaging of the image and everything, like you brought that upon yourself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. She signed on the dotted line. She gave her whole thing away.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I just feel like more and more you're starting to see, I don't know if it's because of social media or whatnot, that you just hear everybody's opinions more, but you're starting to see like some of these artists go a little more crazy.
What do you mean by that?
Like they just, like I can't even look at Doja Cat. Like she just looks like unwell.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just kind of like some of the certain things that they do, like they start to speak out, like they just get really, they keep on vocalizing their displeasure for the industry, right? But it's like you said, when you sign on that dotted line, I guess, you agree to certain things.
Yeah, and a lot of like Doja, you know what I mean? That's why I'm like, oh, she's not necessarily Satanist, but like all that imagery and everything, like she's kind of being forced to do that, you know what I mean? And it's more so to create polarity so that they distract from the real agendas of what they're doing of, separating oneness and unity. But a lot of them, once they're like, if you really look, the truly talented ones, they're the ones that are wanting to break out. Those are the ones that end up looking crazy. Justin Bieber, Doja Cat, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston.
Kanye.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Kanye, but Cardi B is doing really great.
Right. And and we know how you feel about her. Even though you knew her before she really blew up.
And I was really nice last time what I said about her. I was like, she was cool. No, she was just really shy around me because I was a stronger energy. And I influenced her. And she saw that if I try and the only thing is she didn't realize that you actually have to have talent, to actually be really respected. Now, you can make it in the industry by doing all kinds of things, but you don't have talent. So you're backed by Illuminatic forces and, baby eaters and blood drinkers of this world, but you don't have the backing of the people who want to show up to a show. Like, she can't even go on tour. Like, what show has she headlined on her own? Not one.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. That's kind of crazy. I mean, like, she's seen as one of the top female rappers of the industry in today's.
Because of the people behind her. Now, Brooklyn Johnny is one of the pussiest, bitch-ass motherfuckers out here. Like, how dare you? He blocked me on Instagram, too, because I just, talking shit. But how dare you sit here and make money? Like, anybody who knows who Brooklyn Johnny is, like, where does he come from? Where in the hood? Like, where is his block? Who are his parents? Like, who is his aunt and his uncle? Who can put this little motherfucker in check for sucking dick and taking money and destroying the very fabric of society?
Wait, so he blocked you for what? Like, you were talking about him?
Yeah, because I was like, I put him, Fat Joe, like a bunch of other people, because, Fat Joe has endorsed Cardi B and J-Lo and all them, you know what I mean? Oh, let's talk about J-Lo, too. She's now finally being exposed! Yes! Final fucking leave.
Wait. But before, okay, let's preface this a little bit, okay?
Sorry.
She was like such a big star. I mean, it's for you growing up, as Latina and everything like that. Didn't you view her like in a positive light when you were younger?
Okay, so when I was younger, I wasn't even allowed to listen to secular music.
Right.
It was of the devil. So I never saw like these, like, and then I remember, okay, obviously we all saw the Selena movie. You know what I mean? She killed the role. You can't take that from her.
Right.
She killed the role. After that, then, she's coming out as this, and, the songs, everyone vibed to the songs. Obviously, they were produced great. They were written greatly. And the vocalists that were there to sing for her, they sounded amazing, And
wait. What do you mean that come on. You can't just gloss over that. You say that she didn't sing the song herself. It's not really her voice.
Dude, we know. Everybody knows that other vocals were used, and they just kind of like put her little weak ass vocals on top to kind of, give her timbre. But we know Ashanti, we know like Claudette, they were doing her vocals. The bitch can't sing. And I'll tell you, she can't even dance like that. If you go back to the Fly Girl auditions, way back in the day, if you look at on YouTube, you see Rosie Perez was the captain, like ordering the dancers around, right? She was calling out, and Rosie was like, okay, the girl in the yellow shirt, okay, you with the black pants, you with the blah, blah, blah. Okay, and Jennifer. Rosie put her on just because she was Puerto Rican, but if you see the footage, J-Lo couldn't even keep up with the moves, with the choreography. J-Lo was behind. But Rosie put her on because she was Puerto Rican. And then she did Rosie dirty.
Wow.
And then all this stuff is coming out with her new movie that's been, that fucking, no sales. She's now canceling shows because ticket sales are low. You know what I mean? Like, and then the thing is, she brought Stevie Mackey, who is one of the biggest vocal coaches in the industry, under her belt, like made Stevie Mackey her bitch, so that she could present to the masses and have people perceive her as this great vocalist that she never was. But a lot of us know that Tommy Mottola just used her to get back at Mariah Carey.
Right.
Tommy was like, yo, I'm going to show you that I can make anybody into a music star. Fuck you, Mariah. That's what he did.
It's kind of hard because, growing up, she was one of my crushes, you know what I mean, as a little kid.
She was everybody's crush.
She
was everybody's crush.
Right. But I feel you. But it's crazy because, when I saw this thing with Liza Rios, right? Big Pun's widow. And she was talking about how when she went to the music video set for the song that J-Lo did with Big Pun and Fat Joe, that J-Lo was like a complete bitch to her, like treating her like she was like the work and everything, like, the helping hand and everything. And she was like, yeah, she was like, no, I'm here trying to like help you out right now because I'm helping my husband who's like helping your career basically, by doing that. And she was just saying that it was like a real bad experience. And you see other people talk about how like she's kind of bougie like that and whatnot. But I saw on Threads you had posted something recently, right, where you were like kind of like everyone's like roasting her for like the whole like running up and down the block thing.
Like, come on, we can all say, and then I didn't even realize there are other people that are coming out from the Bronx saying like, you wasn't in the Bronx like that, like you're lying. So she basically, and now that I look at it, it could have been Tommy Mottola's whole mastermind. Oh, we're gonna make you into this Jenny from the block. So that because they know how to hit demographics.
Right, they know how to market.
Because and your average human, they love someone who's relatable to them. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, you sing amazing, but you're relatable to me and you're saying the same things that that's what they do in entertainment. But all of these motherfuckers are some fake ass motherfuckers.
Didn't you like it when she was with Diddy though, when they were together and they were viewed as like this powerful couple back in the day?
During that time, I wasn't even allowed to tune into secular entertainment like that. I wasn't allowed. So like, I just wasn't in that frame of mind.
Right. It was a little bit after, right? When Get Rich or Die Trying and whatnot.
And really, when I was 17, what I was attracted to that's what my first two albums that I went to Tower Records and bought Get Rich or Die Trying and Fab Street Dreams. That's the shit that I wanted to listen to at 17. Not J-Lo.
So, but for somebody like her that is like viewed as, an inspiration to like people coming up, right? Don't you think that's kind of sad though? Like,
that like it's sad for the people that were inspired by her.
Yeah.
No, I will tell the people that were inspired by her, stop your idol worship.
Right. That's the other problem, right?
And tap into you. Tap into you. And this is when I go out and do shows, it's not about me. It's about you. And I teach you how to tap into money manifestation so you can light up your life. I'm not here to be worshipped. I'm here to give to you as a messenger, as somebody who creates art. I am here to give, not to take from you. That's the twisting between the difference between artists of light and artists that are used for the industry.
Yeah, that's, I feel like since I've gotten somewhat into this field, with interviewing artists and the more that you start to dig and the more you start to realize, it's just like, it really shows you why you shouldn't idolize people, because a lot of times the people that you looked up to, you end up meeting. That's why they say never meet your idols, right? Because you'll be disappointed. You'll be disappointed, like people that break down the lyrics and go, oh my God, they're talking to me. Like, I totally went through that. I totally feel heard. I feel seen. Right. And then you meet the person and a lot of times they're assholes. They might not be good people. You know what I'm saying? And for you, right? When did you start to realize that when you went into the industry?
Um, I mean, I've never been one for idol worship. So to me, I always looked at celebrities as my peers, which is why I was in the company of them.
Mm,
You know, like I like people always like, oh, you're like Selena. And I'm like, like I'm like, yo, you're fucking insulting me by telling me I'm like Selena. That's why I came out with Trap Selena. People don't realize. I was like, I never said I'm like Selena. People were always like, oh my God. When I first got on stage in New York City at one show, I had Jeff Robinson from Republic Records. He was like, Selena is back. And I was like, fuck that shit. I'm Tina motherfucking Torres.
mm,
Like, I'm a different bitch. I'm a different energy, you know? And I just stepped onto this planet, just not, I just have never done the idol worship thing. I
right.
always see them as my peers. Even Beyonce.
And I see that you're starting to. I mean, you're still going to all these big events, right? Didn't you just go to like some man, what was it? The Jay-Z's former streaming company. I can't think of it right now. What was the company that he owned?
Oh no, that was back in 2018, Tidal. So when I was in
Title.
New York, I was always at big events, you know? It was
Right.
when Meek Mill was having a conversation with Elliot Wilson. But we all heard that the Meek and Diddy audio.
Right, right. What do you think about that? What do you think about the Meek Mill and Diddy thing?
Come on, come on. He wanted to get on, so he's gonna take it from Diddy.
Take that, take that.
Yeah, and then we saw him in the pool, cooling off. Like he looked like he was struggling in the pool.
Oh,
Like, come on, that was like he was like his upper body was like holding, and he's just letting his lower body float and cool down. Like,
he's letting it take a breather, heal a little
yes,
bit. Okay.
yes.
Yeah, all these videos that they keep on bringing back up, right? These old videos, it's just not painting Diddy really well. It's just not helping him at all by any means. So I saw on your Instagram, you spoke about this man by the name of Bob Proctor that changed your life, right?
Yes, yes.
Who is Bob Proctor?
Oh, may his spirit live on, and his spirit lives on. Bob Proctor was a man who compiled courses and so much content. Not only, it was not even about money manifestation. This is where people go wrong. But this man taught people how to shift their paradigm, how to hop dimensions and realms to hit your highest timeline. And that means hitting your highest timeline really just means being in an energetic state where all of your chakras are aligned, everything is aligned, and you are a magnetic source. And you're in this Neo state, Neo from the Matrix, to draw everything to you, to freeze all time, matter, and space so that you can achieve your will. And when you are in tune with source, which is the will of the highest good for all of humanity, you have the ability to stop all time and space, to bring heaven on earth here and now. And you can bring hell on earth too, which is what they've all been doing collectively. But there is a number of us that is doing that collectively to bring heaven on earth.
So in the video though, right, that you spoke about money affirmation, can you share like how that changed your life?
Yeah. Okay. So the affirmation, so there's something about repetition. When you practice a sport, right? You know, repetition, practice makes perfect, right? So I just remember being in a very, like not having any money flow. I was living in New York City. I was struggling, and I came across Bob Proctor and this affirmation. And there was one thing I heard. I was told to recite this in my head 1,000 times in one day. So I did that, recited it. I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Through that repetition, I started to develop this frequency within my body that started to understand that I am a source that is deserving of all of the love and everything and joy and abundance in my life. And I started to bring that into myself, and then within that came now, okay, I gotta heal this thing that happened to me when I was younger. So I'm now clearing out blockages and removing traumas and removing false beliefs, like growing up in Christianity, where the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. And most humans misconstrue that. Oh, money is evil. So if you're rich, then you must be an evil person. It's actually, if you really comprehend properly, it's talking about greed. It's not talking about money, where greed and the intention of a human is the root of all evil. But someone who is aligned and will do good for the planet, actually, now those of us that are coming into this certain alignment and vibration, a lot of money is going to flow into us so that we can now allocate funds on the earth to now create balance so that we can eradicate poverty, sickness, and disease from the planet, because sickness and disease is rooted in poverty. I don't resonate on any kind of sickness and disease. It comes from poverty.
Right. So you were able to change your life and have money come into your life as a result of this. Because like musically, you're not like the biggest artist or anything, but you're able to provide for yourself still, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how are you able to do that?
I call it abundant flow. So because we live in this matrix simulation, and I say money in the matrix is like a plug-in for your software. And once you have the right formula, and I teach people about vortex-based mathematics. So we don't even understand that in our society that we have been taught a false mathematics, Common Core. In Common Core, 2 + 2 = 4. But in vortex-based mathematics, in Common Core, 1 + 1 = 2. But in vortex, 1 + 1 = 3. To simplify that, you take two humans that procreate, they produce a third. 1 and 1 = 3. That's actually the true mathematics of the universe. It also teaches us that there is no larger number in the universe than 9. After 9, what do we get? A 1 and a 0. So it's just a stacking of numbers and a recycling of numbers and energy. So if we remove that stacking of numbers, now we know how to use the Fibonacci sequence, which Tesla used for his coil, right? To be able to create electricity, right? And people don't even realize it. Beneath the New Yorker Hotel, because I believe I worked with Tesla in a past life, that he built his quadrant structure underneath that hotel. And that hotel has the ability to power the entire planet with free energy. The fact that we're paying for electricity and light and all things like that is actually a crime against humanity. So we're about to step into free renewable energy. And this is why entertainment and all this stuff, this all needs to come down. It's not even about, okay, forgiveness, mercy, and grace. You drinking blood, eating babies. You know what? That can be forgiven. But what we all need to do is to unify. Because energy is recycled, even death. There's really is no death, which is why they can do what they do without any remorse. But we need to step into this place of unity, and the money system needs to come down, or the mentality of how the money system, the value system works, needs to come down, and everybody needs to realize that you have the power. You have the power to draw everything to you and to provide for every need. And more.
Okay. So recently you posted a stories of a fan saying they can't wait until you get a man, right? And in our last interview, you said you were in a relationship and you seemed real happy. So what happened?
Okay, so I mean, my love life is it's always been a mess. And
which is kind of crazy because like you always seem to have yourself really together, you know?
Yeah, I compartmentalize my love life always.
Gotcha.
Like it never defines me. And because I'm not like J-Lo. I'm always in a fucking wedding dress. Like, bitch, you 50 and still in a fucking wedding dress? How many fucking wedding dresses have we seen you in? Oh, like, come on. Just saying. So, but there will be one divine union that will be public for me at some point. You know, there was somebody in my life for 7 years and it was an up and down thing. And in the last podcast, there was, working out things. And even then, I don't know what's going on right now still. Okay. So it's still up in the air.
Gotcha.
It's
okay.
wild.
And I saw on Threads, you said, about to step into my cat lady era. My grandmother has been without a man since her 30s. It's in my blood.
No, okay, that was me and my feelings. You
Okay.
know what I mean? I'm like, fuck, man, I'm never gonna do this again. No, really, and actually, I realized I have to break that generational curse because even though, yes, you can find happiness alone, yes, you can do that. My grandmother, I remember asking my grandmother years ago, and I was like, Grandma, you don't want to find a man, and she was like, in truth, in confidence, no, I'm good. And I can see that in her. The thing is, she has grown so accustomed to, whatever happened, but I feel like I may be the person in my family right now to break that generational curse. So stay tuned. Love is on the way. I just don't know how it's going to happen.
Right. Definitely. Um, yeah, because you got some people excited to see, that you were single. Some fans, but at the same time, it's like obviously, I think the idea of someone great like you going on without a partner, people were like, that's a waste, So,
Yeah, you know what? It is a waste. It is a waste because we're all here to channel the highest love on this planet. And part of channeling the highest love is not only just giving love to your neighbor and to friends and things, but to be conjoined in that divine union. And that is one of the highest loves is the union between the masculine divine and the feminine divine.
what do you think you struggle with the most in relationships? Is it trust or?
No, I'm a very trusting person. Like I just give trust. Like trust, I deal trust like that. Like fucking ones in the club, in the strip club. Until you break my trust
Right.
is then when I have a hard time, and really my hardest thing in relationships is just reflect the same love that I give myself. If you can't reflect the same love that I give myself, then we're gonna have a problem.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I love myself so much and I accept myself so much that I love my comedic self even when I'm shitting on people and I'm bashing people, where other people will be like, oh, well, you're a negative bitch. Oh, why do you do that? You're not positive. I still love myself in that state. I love that. I love that facet of me, even
Right.
when others don't.
So you want somebody to accept you fully for like who you are.
Yeah. And at the same time, I know how to look at my flaws. I know that I'm still a work in progress and I have gray areas and I need to develop here and this I need to grow in. I need to heal. There's still places I need to heal in. But if you can't love me right now in my full state and the reflection, the self-love reflection that I give myself, then you're not of me, you know? And we're not stepping into oneness and unity because I can still love you and accept you as you are. But why can't you do me? But you can forgive all the baby eaters and the blood drinkers of this world, but you're looking at me, oh, well, why are you bashing celebrities? But yet we're all talking about forgiveness and love and grace and mercy for the baby eaters and the blood drinkers, but you can't accept me.
And then the person that you've been in a relationship with over the years is in the industry as well. So I see where you're going with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you posted this video that was real disturbing, right? Of what appears to be a man throwing you out of a hotel room and you being abused. Can you explain what happened in that situation?
Um, it was just really from a macrocosmic, I'll explain from the macrocosmic perspective. It was disempowering energies, demonic forces that were wanting to pull people apart and to create more chaos on Earth.
So break that down for us to understand.
So when two people are about to accomplish something, there a lot of times could be a force that's going to come in between to separate what the two are doing as a force to create heaven on earth.
What was your intention in posting that video?
To bring healing to people, to show people, one, I know people look at me like Oh, you have it all. It's all bubble gum and like it looks good. But to show people that it's not always all peaches and cream all the time, but that we can step into a place of healing and forgiveness.
And I think that because you are an Aries and you're very fiery at times and everything, people perceive that as you being very strong, right? And that moment was a very vulnerable moment. So I feel like by you posting that, it really showed people that, you know, you have your moments as well, but you can still rise above it no matter what you've been through.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Was it in this situation right now, right? Was it very difficult for you to talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I saw you take that deep sigh. You were like, you know.
Yeah. It is. It's not easy to, and that's really some real truth being exposed. You know what I mean? I mean, even coming out with, you know, how I was assaulted way back when I first came out with that, that was even troubling to talk about. But the more you talk about it, the more you heal from it, and the more you can find forgiveness, you know?
That video is not from your partner that you guys are working things out with, is it?
No.
That's from a different person. Okay. Wow. That's really unfortunate. Do you still keep in contact with that person?
Yeah, I do.
And have you been able to forgive that person?
Yes.
Yeah. Was it really difficult for you to find forgiveness?
Um, no. I think I have to, it's not difficult for me to find forgiveness. I just have to cycle through emotions and things and to find understanding. Once I'm able to find understanding, then it's much easier to step into a place of forgiveness. And people have to understand that understanding really is just love.
And I think that a lot of times people look at things as like, oh, this person doesn't deserve my forgiveness. But a lot of times it's more of like forgiving for yourself because you're able to move on then, right? You're able to let go of what has been done to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And you deserve that. It's more so about what you deserve to let go of that. That's what forgiveness is.
Absolutely. Now, you posted something else that was really disturbing on Threads, right? About Christian men. You said, speaking of Christian men always being concerned about vagina, right? When I was 17, my father had his associate pastor hold me down while he beat me with a rubber paddle.
Yep.
And he kept beating me till till I would confess to having sex. I had just barely kissed a boy at 17. I couldn't sit or lay down on my backside for a week because my rear was so bruised. I also passed out in the middle of the cause of pain was because the pain was so intense.
Mm.
What you're talking about something right now that is so traumatic, but you're laughing about it. Can you share the emotions that you feel when you reflect back on that?
It's mixed emotions right now. You know, I could probably cry if I wanted to. Um, and that has been a journey to find forgiveness with my father for, falsely accusing me and then beating me. Um, what was your question though? Like,
Like because you know, like while I'm like reciting what you wrote, you're laughing about it at the same time, right? Like is it from a place of uncomfortableness, or like what
oh,
is something so
oh,
serious, you know?
now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I still need to find a little bit of healing from it because
Mhm.
if like I'm finding my laughter is more so, like like a band-aid right now, you
Got
know?
you. Got you. Okay.
Cause really truthfully, internally, I'm a little fucked up in the head, you know? Because that was such a traumatic experience, like to have your father sit, like you just kissed a boy for the first time at 17 and he's accusing you of having sex. And then he has his associate pastor hold you down, Puerto Rican dude from the Lower East Side. I just want to note that. And it took it was like a rubber paddle like this thick. that was this long, like this, that they used to like slap horses with to get them going. And my dad used all of his force, put his back into it, came down. And mind you, 17 years, I've always had a big ass naturally. So in his mind, he thought, because her ass is bigger, she needs more heat. When he didn't realize that my ass is bigger, I actually have more nerves and more space to feel. So it was more painful. In the middle of that, he was like, confess that you had sex! Confess that you had sex! And I'm sitting there like, in pain, screaming in pain. And the associate pastor is like watching, his face was like watching a horror movie. Cause, my dad was a very forceful man. And, then I passed out. And then I just remember waking up and then being hit on. And then he stopped eventually. And then I'm like, why am I going to confess to something that I didn't even do?
So you didn't cave. You didn't cave and just say I did just to get it to stop or anything.
Wow. That's not my spirit. That's not who I am.
Yeah, definitely. You don't strike me as that type. Did you ever have a conversation with him about that incident?
Oh, we still talk about it. I mean, I haven't spoken to him in a while. Like that's the whole thing. But yeah, we've talked about it a lot after the fact, And even in
did he ever admit that he was wrong?
Yeah. Just my father is still such a narcissistic individual that I don't know if he feels that.
That's interesting that you say that because in our first interview, we had spoke a lot about your father, right? And kind of like the ups and downs of because of religion, the choices that he made, and it seemed like at that time, like you guys were in a decent place, or at least that's like kind of what you relayed.
Yeah. And well, I wasn't speaking to him at the time. I'd like to speak well of my father still. Like there were a lot of good things that he did. And my father helped many families, has done good for so many people, gave a lot of money away to people, but at the same token, there was a lot of toxicity, and then compartmentalizing and talking about this whole situation, I still feel a certain way, I guess.
Right. And rightfully so. Right. Do you think that your relationship with your father has affected kind of the abusive theme that you've experienced in your life with other men?
Oh yeah, it was like the opening of the door to the vibration. So when I left home, against his wishes, he looked me in the eyes and he told me, "You're going to be raped by 9 men." The next thing you know, I'm moving to New York City. Then I'm landing in the arms of the dude who I was with for 11 months, who cast a spell on me.
Right.
And then that led into going on to, being so susceptible vibrationally to everything else, to also my purpose and being a target in the astral realm, then to have the twins, Lauren Bourgeois, come and cast his spell on me, then other people trying to put more spells and more energetic workings onto me. So it was just like a snowball effect.
It's interesting because like statistics show, right? Like if you've been abused before, the likeliness of it happening to you again, it's almost like predators or people, they have like this knowing that this person is easy to target, or I don't know if it's happened to them before, or it's sad.
It's vibration.
Though. Right.
It's vibration.
So how do you cope with these things, and how do you feel like they affect you to this day?
Well, I mean, in retrospect, I look at everything and I'm like, wow, I endured a lot. So I can only look at myself as a really strong person to have overcome so much and to even still be standing here now and to have joy and peace and to have my fucking crown on my birthday. That's why I got to let people know it's my birthday. That's why I'm wearing a crown.
Yeah. We celebrating. And that's why she had her drink too.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, I can still bring my life back together, even going through all this, and that's just, it's a testament and to show other people that you can lift yourself out of the mud, out of any quicksand that you're sinking in.
Do you think that you ever had any moments where you kind of like allowed yourself to wallow in like the things that happened to you instead of like lifting yourself up?
Oh yeah. I have soaked in low vibrations for months, you know, and even before, like in 2020, when I ended up in the hospital right before the pandemic hit, like I was wanting to die. And vibrationally, I put myself in that position of being near death.
How did you lift yourself up out of that?
Well, it was more so, you know, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, um, lifting me out of it. Because, you know, having to be admitted to the hospital, near death experience, can't breathe, all of a sudden, all this COVID news hitting. When I'm in the hospital, the nurse is running into my room in hazmat suits, like rushing me to ICU. It was like a whole experience, you know, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm meant to still be here, and I'm meant to, you know, carry on and fulfill a purpose.
So did you have like an anxiety attack? That's why you were in the hospital, or like what was it?
No, what it was, okay, so vibrationally, like there are physical things. Now, when you're in a vibrational state and you want to achieve something, you'll attract whatever means necessary to achieve your result. So, me wanting to die, right? I got a weed vape from a friend, right? From the streets, not the dispensary. And I remember looking at the vape, and something was like, and I just brushed it aside. 3 days later, I woke up. I was on the couch for like 2 days, like just not wanting to live. 3 days later, I woke up and I couldn't breathe. My sister had to rush me to the hospital, and then, you know, it was there. And then like a day later is when all the COVID news hit. So it was weird how even though I manifested this singularly, it was still a part of the consensus reality, you know?
Right.
So we're all still a collective, which is why we're all one. But even though I was trying to manifest my singular death, it was still part of the collective consensus reality.
So it seems like you're still dealing with people telling you, don't speak on our culture. You're not a part of the culture. You're just a Karen. On Threads, you said, do you know how many kids on TikTok like to tell me that I'm not a part of the culture? I was a part of the culture before they were even born. BLM
Yep.
really did a number on the racial mentality of the youth of America. On the regular, I would drop in on Arsonist, Heatmaker Studio in Times Square. Fred the Godson was always there, and Jim Jones would drop by often. Jim always fell asleep in the studio, and I didn't like his vibe. LOL. I would just be chilling, giving my little musical advice. Can you elaborate on what you mean by BLM doing a number on the youth?
Yeah, the psychological operation of, you know, now obviously there has been, you know, a racial thing that has gone on. You know what I mean? But there has been a lot more that has happened thousands of years before these little 500 years that we've been in. You know what I mean? And we have to realize that there was a psychological operation that was taking place even before then. So we're all here now. And before Black Lives Matter, Black kids weren't telling me, oh, you can't be in hip hop because you're not Black, until Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you come out speaking against lyrics that are talking about murdering Black people, and young Black kids on TikTok are telling you you're racist. You know?
It's interesting because it's like I have noticed that there's been more of a shift in hip hop. Now, you know, I mean, obviously hip hop has always been predominantly blacks and Latinos, right? But I feel like over the years, it's been more preached. Like if you're not of that descent, then you're a guest in the culture, right? And what you think, what you have to say, it doesn't matter as much. But at the same time, we've always had this idea that hip hop is all inclusive, everybody's welcome, you know. But then it's like certain categories they place you in. And I feel like it's grown even worse over the years.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing about it is that like these kids don't even know like the history of it. You know what I mean? And who the CIA targeted together. That they saw unity happening, you know? And so it's like they decided they wanted to use it for racial programming to divide.
You know, I see that some of the same people are constantly attacking you on threads and everything like that, right? You don't block these people, like you just allow them to constantly weigh in and follow you and talk about you.
You know why? Because I love them. I love them. I wouldn't be me without them, and they wouldn't be me without, vice versa.
Mm,
Like, I need them. You need the haters.
right. Yeah. If you got haters, you're doing something right. 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 So why didn't you like Jim Jones' vibe?
He came off like a pussy ass, bitch ass little motherfucker to me. Like some dude who would open up his portal hole to get fame.
Really? Like what about it was that he gave that vibe to you?
His energy. Nobody has to necessarily do anything. All they have to do is walk.
Mm.
And I can tell who you are.
And then it's crazy that you knew Fred the Godson too, right? Rest in peace to him.
Yeah.
What was Fred like?
Fred was chill, man. You could tell Fred was a good dude. Fred was about, he loved his, like, I didn't know his girl or whatever, but, he was just in the studio at times. But you could tell he was a respectful dude and that he wasn't about no fuck shit business.
All right. Well, Tina, I just want to thank you again for your time today. Always a pleasure to sit and talk with you. Do you have anything that you want to say to the fans before we go ahead and wrap it up? Any projects that you're working on?
Yeah, get ready for more music on the way. Like, I felt that release. I will be doing shows at some point, and we're all one. That's the message. One, unity, peace, love. It's all coming down, and extend forgiveness, mercy, and grace to those who need it. That's it.
Thank you so much, Tina.